Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Deliberately Intentional with me, Remi Fagbohun. Today's title is Self-Confidence, Pure and Simple. Whether we like it or not, we are all fixated with everything looking perfect. And we kind of equate perfection, looking perfect, to self-confidence. Like, okay, if I'm looking perfect, that makes me like fully flawlessly made up, hair perfect, everything looking on point. And hey, this is from me being a stylist, so I do know what that life looks like. But everyone seems to think that everything has to be perfect. It doesn't have to be. And that does not equate to being super confident. I always say sometimes that the people that are the least confident, the most insecure, are sometimes the one that make believe that they have to have this whole facade. Today I'm wearing zero makeup, nothing whatsoever. I've got two zits that menopause is using to kick my butt. I have lip gloss on. Of course, I have my lashes because those are permanently there. Hair is not done, and I'm wearing a baseball cap because it's a bad hair day. And this is probably how you're going to see me 90% of the time because I don't wear makeup every day. I put makeup on when I need to. Why am I bringing this up today? Because a lot of us feel like, okay, if I don't look perfect, I can't leave the house. If I don't do this, I can't do that. Or we want to present an image that is not necessarily always true. But confidence isn't something that is based on how you look and what you wear alone. It's about what's inside of you here and what you believe about yourself. And so for me, I believe that if you know me, and I've said this many times, my personality is probably a 15. Looks, I've always given myself like a 7. And that's not me lowballing myself. If I pull it together, I probably give myself closer to an 8. But I know what all my flaws are. Do I want to fix them? Maybe. But has it stopped me from getting everywhere I want to get in life? No, it hasn't. I still pulled a 10. And that's based on personality. I give my husband a 10 because I feel like, you know what everything you're looking for in a person, height, build, blah, blah, blah. He had all of that. And then an amazing smile. My smile is not great because I sucked my thumb when I was a kid. But all of that to one side. When people ask me, oh, are you going to fix your teeth, for example, I say, maybe. My dentist asks me all the time, I'm not happy with that. I said, I know you're not happy. That's your job. You're my dentist. So you're meant to be unhappy if the smile is not perfect. But I don't feel that it has stopped me from delivering my message. It hasn't stopped me from talking to people confidently. It hasn't stopped me from being an amazing mom or for being an amazing wife. It hasn't stopped me from making my gazillion friends. So why do I feel I need to change anything? See what I mean? Nothing has stopped me. My physical look hasn't stopped me from doing anything. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I'm going to leave everything and let it fall apart. God forbid. Because I do understand that you do need to be able to pull it together the right way. But I also work on what's within here more than I probably do what's outside because that's kind of what's more important. I don't look the way I looked 20, 30 years ago. I don't even look the way I looked last year even. I've changed. And we're going to keep changing, every single one of us. But guess what's not going to change? What's in here? If you're a good person, if you're a patient person, if you're ambitious, if you're all of these million different attributes, that will never change. The more you start changing and start fixing the physical, thinking that these physical things are what's going to make you happier, you're just going to keep finding more things to fix until you can look back on yourself and you're going to realize that I don't know this person anymore. So me sitting here is also just pointing out to you that you have to work on what's within. Sure, there have been guys that have said back in the day, there were guys that said I wasn't their type. And immediately I just said good riddance to bad rubbish. But let me talk about where I got this self-confidence from. It was from other women. A man sometimes is not necessarily the best person to tell another woman about her self-esteem or to build her up. Why? Because most times the men that are coming into your lives are there because they also want something. Let's not lie. And so if that person was the one to build you up when he gets what he wants, and if he's not there or if the relationship falls apart, when he leaves, he takes whatever he's given you as well with him, which means whatever confidence that he's helped you build, if you didn't have it on your own, once he's leaving, or let's say you break up, your confidence sometimes shifts and goes along with him. But you see, when a woman who's a friend tells you that, you know what, you're amazing, you can do this, and she boosts you and tells you what she's done as well, you feel a bit different. The two women that have helped me get to this point, I remember very, very clearly, maybe 20, this is 2024, so maybe 20 years ago, I had met someone and I didn't really smile, my big smile that I smile now. And her name is Linda. And she said to me, it's like, why aren't you smiling? I said, well, my teeth aren't great. She's like, nobody cares what your teeth look like when you smile. People will automatically smile back. They're not seeing that you have one tooth that is a little darker. They're not seeing that you have an overbite. They're just going to respond to your smile. And so let your personality shine. Have that big smile. And I never, ever forgot that. That was the first. And Linda is a little older. She's still around. She's still my friend today. Shout out to Linda. But yeah, that was what, and I never forgot that. That was one person. There was another person who showed me by example. She literally just walked the walk. We were working in Madison Square Garden where I was a waitress, and there was this woman who was older than all of us. She was literally the oldest. When I was in my 20s, she was already in her 50s, I would say. People would have empty seats around, but they all waited for her table. And I was baffled. Why wouldn't they come to our tables? Why was everyone waiting for this woman when there was literally empty spots? But they're like, no, I'm going to wait for Hazel. Why is everyone waiting for Hazel? And I asked her the other day, she's like, I just make them feel special. She's like, but you're older. It's even going to take more time. She's like, it's not about what I look like or even if I give the best service. It's how I make them feel. I never forgot that. Here I am younger. I'm going to get you your table fast. But I didn't have the personality back then. I didn't have the personality I have today. But I just sat there and I just watched her and I'm like, people are actually willing to wait for this woman, wait longer times, just so they could get the attention that she's going to give them at their table. And I have my empty table, and it was not just me. There were like 3 other people. But they're like, oh, no, we're not in any rush. It's an experience having Hazel wait on us. And I watched her. She would talk to them about their lives. She remembered salient pieces of their lives. And she would talk to them about, oh, my God, how's your dog now? How's your cat? How's your Aunt Bessie? How she remembered all of these various things about these people, I have no idea. But believe it or not, the way she approached each person made them feel so special. Trust me, I'm sure a lot of you are looking at that. That's where I got it from. Yes, that's what I started to do. And I realized that, yeah, I do remember things about people. I remember the fact that you have a dog. I remember the fact that you said you were doing something last week. And I will follow up with you. Like, how did it go last week? I make everybody that comes into my world feel special. And guess what? Every time they share something with me, it makes me even wiser. When people talk about, oh, you're so wise, you know so much, it's because every interaction I have with anybody, whether it's an Uber driver, whether it's somebody in a hallway, somebody in my elevator, somebody I met at Starbucks, I am literally learning from each and every one of these people. And everyone will remember, oh, yeah, I met somebody at Starbucks today, or I did something. And that makes me more beautiful, whether you like it or not, just by having this aura around me of, I want to connect with people. I want to talk to people. And I have, the willingness to help if I can. That's not being, that's not doing anything out of the ordinary. We're all standing there waiting. But instead of me blocking people out and being annoyed by the fact that people are sitting there, there's so much that I get from these varied interactions. And that's helped me build my self-confidence. So all the things that I've seen in my life is what I've now accumulated and pulled together. And that has now become me. I didn't see a lot of these things when I was growing up or when I was little, but my son does. And so again, his life is, again, so much better than mine. But we bring this back to self-confidence. Your confidence is all about how you see yourself. I see everything that has happened in my life, and I am grateful for it. I wouldn't wish it on my enemy, but for everything that has happened to me, I've learned from the abuse, both the sexual, both the physical, everything I've learned from. And I've taken that to be more, everything I've learned in those various situations of things that have happened to me, I've actually used it to become more of a champion, someone that's very super, super, super protective of people that have also been through these things and didn't have the resilience that I have to push past it and set a different course for themselves. My husband and I talk about it all the time that, we're really happy that it stopped with us. Whatever happened with us stopped with us. We didn't want it to continue for our son. We don't even want it to continue for the people that are around us. But we also understand that human beings are human beings and they're going to do whatever they think they need to do. I'm respectful of that. But I'm happy that what happened with me does not extend to my child. And that in itself is very confidence building. Like, it makes me feel super excited, super happy. So you see, for me, money isn't the main thing. Perfection is not the main thing. For me, success in today is that I made it to the podcast and I was able to get this done. Me being able to confidently come here with my makeup-free, bad hair, sweatpant day and say that I still was able to deliver the things that I needed to deliver. As my husband would say, my deliverable for today means that I've achieved something great. It's not about what's in my bank account. It's about what I was able to achieve, because to me, that means so much more. Being able to be consistent at delivering this message to you guys and hoping that it helps you look at your life differently, knowing that it would probably help someone out there who's thinking, oh, I'm not cute enough, or I'm not slim enough, or I'm not fat enough, because again, there's all sorts of things. Realizing that none of that really matters, but what is your contribution to this world? What are you excited about? What gets you going? Because like it or not, whatever it is that gets you going will make you more beautiful. And I've got a lot of things that get me going. And that's why I'll never really be down ever again, because I've got my fingers in so many different pies and I have so many things that make me happy. And that helps build my confidence. Also, before I end this, everything I've been through that I survived it is also extremely powerful. People don't see somebody that was beaten, somebody that's their mom died. Nobody sees me with all of my flaws, but I own them. I'm able to be vulnerable, knowing that even in my vulnerability, there's strength. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. If you take anything away from today, self-confidence comes from within. And it's not just about how you package yourself. The packaging is one part. Now, we can all package ourselves in different ways. But how do you feel about yourself inside? Do you love you? I absolutely love who I am on the inside. I'm loving all the curves and everything else that comes with me too, because like it or not, that's part of who I am. That's part of my story. Here's something you may not realize. You know that part of your body that you're most self-conscious about? The rest of the world doesn't see that. You're the only one that sees that. And because you're so focused on it, you think the whole world sees it. I had a friend who used to talk about the fact that she had veins at the back of her legs. And because of that, she didn't want to show her legs. And she would wear things that were down to her ankles. But it made her look older than she was. And I said to her, you do realize that the rest of the world does not see the veins at the back of your legs? Of course, some people might see it, but it's not the vast majority. Just like this thing with me and my teeth. Until I point it out, nobody really notices that there's something off. Of course, a couple of people have pointed it out, but predominantly they won't. You are the one thinking about it and you're so overthinking it. You're so in your head. People notice my butt is flat, or people think that my boobs are small, or people think that my teeth are... It's in your head. Stop overthinking it. Everybody's got a flaw. Even the person you think is perfect has a flaw. They just know how to cover it. You need to learn how to realize that your flaw is you. It's part of what makes you unique. Embrace it instead of hating it. So if you take anything away from today's episode, it's that you have control over how confident you are on the inside. And if you don't have the tools, there are books you can read about it. You can send me a DM and I can send you some. You can work with a therapist. You can work with me as a coach. There's so many things that you can do. But don't think that a relationship is what sets about your confidence. Notice my husband is not even in this at all. But he is one of the many things that has helped me build my confidence. But he was not the only one. I was confident enough of myself, which is why I was able to step to him in the first place. If I hadn't stepped to him and got that ball rolling, I doubt we would be in a relationship at all, because he was looking in a whole completely different department. Thank you guys for tuning into another episode of Deliberately Intentional. Don't forget, your self-confidence comes from within. It's not about your butt. It's not about your boobs. It's not about your skin color. It's not about that perfect look. It's about you and what you've got going on inside. I'll see you guys again next week. Bye, everyone.